Hello, good afternoon, Lakshmi. It's wonderful to have you with me in conversation, trying to understand a little more about Gifted. Thank you for taking the time. And I know I gave you a really very short notice, but I thought why not use our time in this pandemic time when we are doing things which seems little mundane and monotonous to have an interesting conversation to understand about you and your thoughts about your young son, Yachit. So why don't you just share a few words about yourself?
Yeah, hi, ma'am, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Yes, I would really be interested in this conversation to learn more on what it is and to also share my experiences. So, I am Lakshmi Priya, residing in Chennai, mother of 4-year-old Yakshit. It's a very nice time because 1.5 years we are in pandemic at home fully with the kid, and this is really an overwhelming experience. And very as a working mother, I just feel this is an it's a privilege and very gifted to have such a wonderful time with son, ma'am.
Oh, that's lovely. They are parents who are complaining and saying that, oh my God, I have work. You did mention you are in IT industry.
Yes.
So we know the kind of hours that women face. And to know that you actually having time to enjoy and you see it as a positive thing, that's really very nice. Because a young boy, energetic, active, 5-year-old with a curious mind who has a lot of questions, they are a handful, right?
Yeah.
So share with me how do you find this kind of positive energy to face? Do you have support at home? How are you looking at it?
Yeah, I do have support at home. I have my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and my husband also. My husband, luckily he's not from IT, he's from business perspective, so we just adjust the timings. When I work, he takes care, and likewise. And we have the grandparents also, which is really important for any kid. When they grow up, they learn a lot from them, so that kind of support also I have. And also from the company, I have good support, how we manage work-life balance, and being part of those kind of conversation, we get to learn a lot of things how we can be energized. So being at how I feel energized is like he keeps me energized. He gives me lots and lots of work. I think sitting idle is the only worst thing that we could do, at least as a working women. Especially women, they can't sit idle, just finish the house chores and then sit idle. So we do office, and then at the remaining time, the travel time, we play with them. So that way we are really energized. And a lot of health wise also, we like, otherwise in Chennai, there's a lot of traveling that we do for work, and that takes lots of our time and energy. I save that and using that to do other things with him.
With him? Okay. Uh, you reached out because you have this very interesting boy who's just 5.5 years old. Can you share what came? I mean, what are the observations you made as a parent that you felt that this kid is showing faster developmental stages compared to other kids?
Yeah. So he's four, and he's going
Oh,
to be
four
four
and a
and a
half.
half.
Okay.
So what we understood is like he could pick up numbers very fast. So he was memorizing. I wouldn't say, because I would not be able to right person to judge whether he's memorizing or he has some logic to remember things. So he's able to reciprocate around like 30 numbers, phone numbers, without any mistakes. And the people who talk to me, they say like he is kind of different from the other kids. So being in pandemic, being at home, I could not realize, because I could not more compare with the other kids. So when we went met a doctor, she told us that it's the right time, because you have to test his IQ and understand and put him in the right growth. So which was really, I mean, we were not aware of that until that time. And that was the stepping stone for us, the kickoff that happened. And when we know that, okay, my son is, every mother will be proud to know that the IQ is more. And though being pandemic, I tried to have some appointments. Like, I know I tortured all the doctors getting the appointment. Please give me an appointment, I wanted to test his IQ. So I met with the doctor, got the assessment done, and then understood this is good. And but I was blank. Okay, what next? That was one question which is in my mind. I understand he is good, but how should I take him further, and how should I tune him further, was the question that I had, ma'am.
Had. Here, I just want to, bring something to notice. When you have emphasized that you did testing and he's being tested and he has high IQ, as a psychologist and a person in the field of gifted education, I'd like to bring it to the common people. Normally, we don't do testing for children of that very young age. Yeah, one. The reason being that they are growing and things are developing. So it is very it restricts when parents have a yardstick, and either we have parents over enthusiastic who want to see the child perform much more, or you end up wanting to bring him as normal as possible, because this whole thing of I have to do something different for my son becomes overwhelming for parents. So you have parents reacting in different ways. I know you have reached out to the doctor that you have mentioned. Um, and it is not that he has been labeled as gifted, or he is through the developmental stages. When we compare, they are indicators, what we call, of him showing signs of high ability. When you compare 4-year-old with other 4-year-olds, you can make out. So as a doctor, she was able to make out, you know, that he is showing faster learning process than children of that age group, and that is what she wanted to confirm. Yeah.
Okay.
And having said that, she then shared it with me, saying that there is a parent who's curious to know more about, how to help the child, because it's natural. Once we come to know, we can't just sit quiet. We need to pay attention and give that kind of input for that child. And it is, like you said, it's a joy, as well as it seems like, oh my God, I need to shift and do something more for this child compared to what I would have done for other kids. So that's the interesting and a positive thing that we're talking about. Like you rightly said, what is it one can do? One, he's very young. So at that stage, there is a lot of exploration. So helping him to explore. Now, what is the difference between when we explore for children who are showing advanced learning, memory, or motor skills, compared to normal children? Would be, for normal children, the focus is that as long as the child is engaged and is doing, basic stuff, like when you read a story, is he listening? If you give him toys, is he playing? Is he able to recollect the colors or shapes? You talk about that. Now, when we're talking about children who are showing signs of advanced learning, that means if he's 4.5, he is showing about year, 2 years higher capability. Okay. So then if you still end up giving what we normally would give, it's like saying my son is 14-year-old, is what his capability is, but technically he is 10 years old. So I'm going to say it in what do you say, the common dialogue that we can people can understand. So when a 10-year-old is saying that his capacity is up to 14, so do I give, knowing that his capacity is 14, end up still giving only what is 10-year-old capable of? That means I'm depriving the child of his hunger. So I need to give something more. And what is that something more? So when we talk about, we're talking about, if you're talking about puzzles, if you're talking about toys, if you're talking about, like you said, he has good memory, associating things, giving storylines which he can recollect and add on his own. So all these things expand and help them to explore, basically. Yes, it does take a more, because these the kids are all the time asking questions. Why? I'm sure you must have experienced. What are the kind of questions your son asks?
He asks like, I mean, everything possible. So one example, yesterday this one happened. I thought it would be nice to share. He was calling his dad. He was calling, and he did not react. And I said, sorry, dad, not here. So maybe you should go to, close to him and then call him. He just said, mommy, it's not that. There is no signal in daddy's face. That is why he was not able to hear. I was like, oh my God. No, because we related to the cell phone. When we say don't, no signal, then the other person did not hear. So these kind of interesting things we learn from him. And the kind of questions, if I talk to anybody, what is his name, how is he related to you, the linkage, like easy from your school, easy from your college, or easy from your work, what kind of relation you have with him. So these kind of questions are more that I hear from him, ma'am.
So he's always wanting to connect things, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, and you also are able to see that what you call is that he is linking signal of mobile which he has seen with his father, which is very unusual. Normally, yeah. So the thing is that another observation one needs to make is that is it a one time kind of conversation that he has, or it's constantly asking those kind of things? Normally when parents say, they say that they will have one very interesting conversation the child has said, and they will stick to that conversation and say my child is smart or my child is gifted. We have to see this kind of pattern almost in every day to day, life. It's not like a one time thing.
Mm.
Okay, we need to see consistency. That's when we know that child has that kind of capability. Yeah. So what are the day to day things that he does which really amazes you in terms of the way he looks at the things that he does, play games or having conversations with you? What is it that he really does?
He's interested more of art as well, ma'am. So he likes painting. He likes to mix colors and see. So when because I as an art teacher keep telling people, I don't know if he observes. He never sits in my class, but he observes things.
So
He
why
talks
don't you
about.
share that about yourself? Because you are into art and you do a lot apart
Yes.
from being a mom, a wife, a daughter-in-law, and an IT professional. You are also doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. On weekends, I do take art classes, ma'am. So he just comes and goes. I never saw him sitting next to me and observing things. So at a small age, I also don't tell him you have to do this, that. But then he was able to recollect the primary colors, secondary colors, and he picks up the paints and try to mix things and see, mommy, if I mix these two colors, I get these colors. He does that in the paint, and again he takes his iPad, open the paint window, and try to do that. And he asked me why this one I mix the same colors and why it is not coming. Then again, he tries to explore what mistake he did, and then he tries to bring it. So yesterday also he wanted to do not yesterday, 2 days back he wanted to do a rainbow. He asked me color papers. So I said I have only few color papers. I didn't have especially the violet color. Then he said okay fine, I'll manage, and I left him and I went for the other work. When I came back, what he did, he had red and blue in his paint. He mixed both the paint. I don't know where he picked up from. It was all in the cupboard. He picked up, he mixed, and he has cut a small paper, tried to put that violet color, and he said I got violet, I got all the seven colors in the rainbow, and that's it, mommy, I think we should do this. I will try mixing the other colors also. That really, actually, I got so overwhelmed because I didn't have that thought. I just told I don't have a violet paper. I have only the other color papers. You try to manage with it. So these kind of things really interest me to understand. Okay, I should be still more upskill myself to teach him or tell him. I'm not teach him. I would say, as you say, but to put them on the exploration mode. So try to guide him, ma'am. So that is
Yeah.
one thing I want to share.
So you see that they don't stop when you say that I don't have. Other kids would have said, okay, and next time you go to the shop, let's go get it or something. But here you find that he is explored himself. So that's
True.
why we say expand that exploration, because they can experiment and find out ways. As such, children of this age do
Mm.
explore and find out things on their own. But many of them don't experiment or take risks. This is also very unique to how children with high ability, you can't stop them. They have to figure it out, they have to find out. So that's another thing that they really do. Yeah. What are the aspirations or ideas that you have for your son? I know he's just 4.5, and you find it fascinating that he's got an excellent memory as far as numerical abilities are concerned. So, what do you see for yourself as a parent, and how do you see Yakshit?
Okay. I really don't have anything in my mind, to be very honest. So
Good. Please don't have anything fixed and start chiseling him according to that. Let him explore and you enjoy that
Mhm.
process. That's so
That's
difficult. I mean, normally, being in the field of parenting, I find that parents come when having made mistakes, and when the child is older, and we're trying to bring back the child. I mean, make the child unlearn the things. Here
true.
we can make new learning without having to do any kind of mistakes, let's say. So you're in a good process actually.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I mean, yeah, to be honest, I didn't have anything in my mind. I want him to be happy. Whatever you want, whatever you want to make the things as messy as possible. It is okay. I'm there to clean, or I'll teach you how to clean. That is how he is learning. Yesterday he came and he was just wanted me to help in every household, being in COVID. So only question that I have in my mind is that, ma'am, being in a situation, being at home, I think one more year we are going to be at home. I always believed kids of his age should have a physical contact in any kind of learning. He loves music. I want to put him in a music class, but online classes, I don't know how much he would be interested in. So I wanted to have some guidelines or some tips that we could use to upskill them during this COVID time, apart from the online classes that we could. Or I'm not sure if online classes will work or will not work. I have not tried out.
Yeah. Interesting, because this is a common thing that we all are going through right now. And as psychologists, as people working with children, uh, we feel the pain and the loss of them not being able to meet people, to have that physical closeness, because play is such a huge part of their life right now, actually. Going to play with others, learning how to share, give, talk, and engage in activities which they learn from each other. One kid playing with another kid, one kid playing with 4 5 kids, one kid being among kids of different age groups. All these things are actually missing. Um, but let's not focus on what they're missing, but look at what they are gaining. Like you rightly said, he has both parents at home now, which is so difficult. Even if you were in your regular setup, by the time you both of you come back from your work, you would be so tired. The kind of behavior patterns we would have exhibited of irritability, anger, tiredness is not there. Okay. Of course, we have anger, irritability of another trend now, having not, we ourselves not being able to look at people, we ourselves not being able to spend time with family members and stuff like that. That makes it very difficult. Fortunately, you have in-laws, your four people at home, so there are a lot of people to engage and be with him. That's one. Two is that emotions, we are able to say, I'm irritated, I'm angry, I'm upset, I need time, I'm feeling low, I am feeling lethargic. All those things we're able to say. um, but children are not able to say that. So children either will show agitation in terms of wanting to do activities and wanting your attention constantly, where they would say that, why can't you sit and play with me? Why can't you read a storybook? Or why can't I do this? Or there is no reason or any behavior thing that you can observe, but you can make out that the child is irritated or is bored, but he's not able to show that he's bored or he's irritated, but it will be in different things. Like he will take a glass and he's taking it very harshly, he's throwing it, or he doesn't want to put his toys back into the bag, stuff like that. So keeping him in an environment which is positive and supportive is really very important. uh, yes, virtual are for learning, virtual can also be for social. If he can talk to his aunt and uncles and others, where instead of you doing storytelling for him, they do it from there. That is one. Engaging in drawing, singing, dancing. I can be dancing here and your son is dancing there. So
Mm-hmm.
you are creating your own, but there is a structure. It's not like one odd time, because this pandemic seems to be like, we thought 1 year would have been over, but we see that it is going to, especially for small children, if you have to protect them, it's going to be another year or so. If that is there, they have to have a structure. Every 10 days this aunt, every 5 days this uncle. So there is a schedule of
Mm-hmm.
things that he does with different people. So one can do the reading for him, one can play with him, one can tell stories. One can ask him what he is doing and how his day is and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Talk about, old stories, like how your grandfather was, your grandmother was those days, cars,
Mm-hmm.
vehicles, travels. All that can be made into a story for the child, and not have it like for hours. 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes, 15 minutes, that's all the attention span is for that time. you know
Yeah.
Even cooking. So you take two bread slices there, I am taking. You put jam there,
Okay.
I am putting. You're having
Okay.
your food there, I am having. But we're having a conversation. So that makes it, for them, it's interesting,
Hmm.
and it's engaging. Of course, you can't expect like us sitting across and us not moving out of the chair. They are going to go running around. That doesn't matter. Just taking it as it is. So for each one, it's a little different, but we need to explore where we bring some kind of normalcy for them. It is, see, they don't know what it is to meet people, play, and do other things. They've not had it. So when you're talking, he's 4.5 now. He was 3.5 last year.
Hmm.
In 3.5 to 4.5, you could have done so many things which he was not able to do. Yeah. So those things he can. And if in the same building you have kids whom you think it will be safe to follow
Hmm.
the same parameters, they can come and play together, just one or two kids.
Hmm.
But you can also have things like you can create like in a room we can create a divided line and say, this is your fort and this is mine, and
Hmm.
I'm going to play in my fort, you play in your fort.
Hmm.
We cannot cross. You can come into mine, I can't come into yours. Hi
Hmm.
Ashit.
Say hi. Hi.
Hi. So what are you doing right now?
Up. What are you doing? Cycling. Cycling.
Cycling. Oh, okay, you know how to cycle.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good, man. And for how long you were cycling?
Uh,
5 minutes, 10 minutes?
100 minutes.
100 minutes. That means you did it for a long time. Okay. After cycling, what do you plan to do?
Now is now is April Pakana.
Hmm?
I I sing April.
You sing?
April. iPad. iPad.
iPad. Oh, you're going to sing with that iPad.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go. I'll
So
go.
that was the little fellow we saw for those. Yeah. So these are the few things that you can do. Ask and talk about their emotions before they go back to bed or something. How did you feel your day was? Were you, are you tired? What made you happy today? What did you enjoy? Small things like that really helps them.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So good. I just wanted to, have a conversation with a parent who's just had a child who's very young and, who's able to do those things. So just before we wind up, I want to understand what kind of conversations he has with his father. What is it they do? Because and I've spoken to your husband and he also does a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, you do that. It's okay. Yeah. Okay, with his father, he wants a lot of physical activities with his father. Though we engage him, we run with him, we play with him, but actually, just wait for 2 minutes. I'll come. Okay, okay, darling, go. So he asked a lot of things with him. He wanted to play football with him. He wanted him to teach. So you do something else, right? So you tell me what you do. You explain me. If he's in a conversation with his office for a long time, I don't know, he picks up few words and he says, tell me what is the meaning of this word, why did you tell this to particularly to this person. And he evenings he says, okay, come, let's go out. And these days being everybody doing yoga, breathing and all, come, let's do it together. You have your mat, I will not disturb you. But then sometimes I jump on you. He declares it, when you're doing yoga, sometimes I jump on you. So just bear with me, and we will do together. So a lot of those kind of activities is what he's expecting to do with his father.
Father. Okay, yeah. I know as parents, both of you individually are also high um, achieving partners because you had mentioned that Satish is into, he has liked flying, yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not pursued it because of ethical and moral reasons where he didn't want it to um, get into this pattern of bureaucracy where you need to push yourself by paying money or paying bribe. So that is also one characteristics of gifted, where they're very rigid about their rules and they will not compromise. They have high principles and values. So you can definitely expect that from your son as well. So you will I'm sure even you have it,
Yes.
because you maintain those standards for yourself. So you will see that in him also at a very young age.
Mm.
And it'll be interesting for you to see how it unfolds. So enjoy parenting, enjoy what we have. I hope we've been helpful in trying to share with you a few things that could be useful. But we'll continue having this conversation maybe a couple of months later to
Sure,
see
ma'am.
what you've been exploring with your son. Okay.
Yeah. Can you
Thank
bring
you.
that 1 minute? Yeah. Can you bring that what you're doing? Can you show that? Bring here. Anna, can I show that, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah. What are you doing, Ashit?
Louder, louder. Say.
Painting. Wow. What are you painting?
Light blue.
Light blue. But what are you going to do with the light blue?
I'm making a color.
You're making a color. Okay, okay. I I think he's exploring colors.
Colors, yeah, ma'am. Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, ma'am.
Yeah,
It was
Lakshmi,
very
for your
insightful.
time.
It was very insightful, specifically on the tips that you gave me. How should I handle him on the COVID situation? Being at home, I wouldn't say COVID situation, being at home, various ways. So I would really implement that and see how it really helps me, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you,
Thanks.
ma'am.
See
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.